Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, today we're going to talk about CRISPR Therapeutics earnings results for Q4 2024. And I'll be off the screen and I'm going to show you the earnings report, and I'll talk in the background. And towards the end, I'll come back and I'll explain to you what I think is happening with CRISPR from my perspective. I look forward to all your comments after that. So let's get started. Hey guys, before we start, I just want to let you know that we have live streams in the morning, 7:45 a.m. every working day. So please join me there. It's a very exciting situation for me because everything is on the fly, and I can also do some analysis for any tickers that you have. So we are very interactive. So please join me every morning at 7:45 a.m. for a live stream. With that said, let's proceed ahead. Welcome back, friends. I'm looking at our CRISPR Therapeutics Q4 2024 and full year 2024 results, and I have a bunch of points that I would like to make. Those of you who want to have more details on this particular report, you can go to CRISPR Therapeutics website and go into their investor section, and the news releases you'll find this report which I have on screen out here. I would like to start off by saying that they are sitting on nearly $2 billion in cash, and their therapy, Casgevy, is gaining serious momentum. That's what I think when I look at both CRISPR Therapeutics as well as Vertex earnings report and focus on the section that talks about Casgevy, because that's where I'm looking at with regard to CRISPR. And I'm going to break down what has been provided in the earnings report. Here are the key highlights that I see. The most important thing for me is that they have over 50 treatment centers activated globally. They have more than 50 patients that had cells collected by end of 2024. And they have had a major breakthrough in terms of paid clients. NHS of England has signed a reimbursement agreement, and that means a big deal for the UK market for Casgevy. And 2025 is projected to see significant growth in patient treatments. So this is the Casgevy launch success. Of course, we also have Casgevy in other parts of the world like the Middle East and US and other places where it's being sold and implemented. So I think that in those areas we are definitely going to have the exchange rate issue, which could be an opportunity or it could be a threat. If a company is based in, let us see, a country like India, because the exchange rate can be very stark. If a company is based in India, let us say a software company, and its clients are in the United States, and the US dollar is strong. So this company is actually going to, the software company in India is actually going to spend in India at a low-cost environment in a low-cost fee. But it's going to be paid by its clients in the US dollars, which are going to come in from the US. And when it gets converted to Indian rupees, they get more rupees as compared to what they would have got before because the rupee is weaker. Now, the dynamic is that US dollar is universally stronger than most of the other currencies. So depending on the domicile of any company, if the company is domiciled outside of US and if they are selling into US and other parts of the world, they are likely to get a lot of exchange rate benefits. So they're going to get exchange rate tailwinds. However, if the company is based in US and it sells internationally, they're going to get exchange rate headwinds. Hainesbrand International gave their earnings yesterday, and they announced that they look at exchange rate headwinds to dampen their earnings and profitability. So there you have it. And CRISPR Therapeutics is a Swiss company, so it's going to have tailwinds, in my opinion, unless the tariff issues come into play, which I don't think are going to come into play for this kind of a therapy. That said, so here we have the section regarding the financials, and I would like to summarize by saying that they have 1.9 billion cash position, which is up from 1.7 billion in 2023. Their R&D expenses are down to 82.2 million from 95.1 million. However, still their net loss of 37.3 million is a bit of a shocker. So compared quarter to quarter from the previous year to this year, I think they have made a loss out there. I'll give you the reasons for that. But before that, let me highlight that they still have a very strong cash runway for future developments. So that's a very big positive. Now let's talk about the reasons for this net loss. When you compare Q4 2023, where the profit was 89.3 million, to the Q4 2024, where the loss was 37.3 million. There are a few reasons that I can think of. In Q3 2024, CRISPR received milestone payments and collaboration revenue from Vertex Pharmaceuticals related to Casgevy. In Q4 2023, they had reached the deferral limit on collaboration revenue, meaning they could not recognize additional revenue in this quarter, unlike in previous quarters where collaboration payments contributed to profitability. So that's one big reason I can think of. The other reason is also that there is a almost $2 million increase in general and administrative expenses, which rose to 18.1 million in Q4 2024 compared to 16.5 million in Q4 2023. This increase could be attributed to higher operational costs associated with Casgevy's global launch, including sales, marketing, and administrative gains. And the biggest point is that no significant one-time gains accrued in Q4 of 2024. In Q4 2023, CRISPR reported net income likely benefiting from milestone payments, investment gains, or collaboration revenue that did not occur in Q4 2024. The lack of similar high-value revenue sources in Q4 2024 resulted in a net loss. So I don't think it is something to be super worried about. It's quite benign, and I wouldn't hold that against the CRISPR stock price. That's my point of view. I'd like to hear from you guys if you see any other reasons or if you think that my analysis is wrong out here. In summary, I would say that the shift from profit to loss in Q4 2024 is mainly due to the absence of collaborative revenue, continued R&D investments, and commercialization costs of Casgevy. However, the company remains financially strong with 1.9 billion in cash and multiple upcoming catalysts in 2025 that could drive further revenue growth, and that could also drive further share price improvement. Now, let us look at the pipeline progress. We'll start off by looking at CTX112 out here. We already spoken about Casgevy. So CTX112 and CTX131 are next-gen CAR-T programs. They are advancing. The only thing I can say is that they have positive data in blood cancers, including patients who failed other treatments and then were included as subjects of this clinical trial. So it's a really positive outcome, I would say. CTX112 received RMAT designation from FDA, and that's a new partnership with an Indian company called CRISPR Therapeutics. I've already spoken about that earlier with you. It's a small private company in India. What it can do for CRISPR Therapeutics is it can reduce the cost of R&D significantly, because R&D will take place in a low-cost area. CRISPR is going to work on natural killer cells. That's what they are talking about. I checked out their website, and there isn't much information out there about the therapies or the pipeline. They don't even have a pipeline section. We'll probably see all of that happen going forward. So we'll watch this space in the next earnings report. Now let us turn our attention to their in vivo programs. In their in vivo programs, they have two cardiovascular programs, CTX310 and CTX320, in clinical trials. And the only thing I can say that is that they're expecting updates on these two clinical trials in the first half of this year. And we're already in the middle of February. So we got March, April, May, June, 4 months. So I guess that maybe after March, we should see some catalyst, because if they had any information, they would have already provided it in the earnings report. If they have not given that, I'm thinking that anything that comes in will probably come towards the end of March or before June. That's my expectation for CTX310 and CTX320. And also they have two new programs, CTX340 and CTX450, entering clinical trials in the second half of 2025. We'll wait for that announcement, and that could probably be another catalyst, and that can be expected only in the second half. So we have to wait for that until after June. Now, I'm going to do the final analysis of this. I would say that before I do that, I would just like to talk a little bit about the CTX211. We don't have any bad news from CTX211. In this case, I would consider lack of bad news to be a good news. In other words, it's still progressing and they're still collecting data, and there is nothing to suggest that it's not doing well. So as long as that is the case, I'm really happy. And again, remember, now it is fully owned by CRISPR Therapeutics. So it's a full benefit for CRISPR if it gets approved. So that kind of brings me to an end of the pipeline. Now, what I would say overall is that this quarterly performance is a bit interesting in terms of CRISPR's strategic positioning. They are not just focused on one breakthrough. They are building diverse pipeline across multiple therapeutic areas. And the Casgevy launch is crucial because it validates their technology and provides real-world evidence of the potential of gene editing. It's in display for everybody to see, and it's being implemented across the globe. And governments are also funding treatment for patients, which means that there's a lot of credibility. And CRISPR Therapeutics has been instrumental in doing the necessary research, development, and clinical trials to bring this to the market. So that means that all the other therapies in their pipeline stand a very good chance of getting monetized. We are dealing with a proven clinical company. So that's one of the big things. The second very important, I think, strategic position is the Indian collaboration that they have, where they have signed up with Encure for the Indian market. That's going to be very helpful because Indian market cannot afford these high cost medicines which are coming from the West. So Encure could probably give them a benefit out there, and also Encure could reduce their R&D costs, and the research and development efforts out there can bear fruits and be used in rest of the world. So that also is another strategic change that CRISPR Therapeutics has made, which should add to their bottom line. This is going to be similar to what we saw in software companies. When they started outsourcing, the margins increased. We would start seeing this in many biotech companies that are of sufficient scale, trying to start off their offshoring program. So that's another strategic aspect that I have seen. And in 2025, there are multiple catalysts that are coming up. Casgevy commercial expansion is taking place, and we'll start getting clinical updates across the pipeline, new program launches, and all those things are going to happen in 2025. So 2025 is going to be a year of catalysts, and we just have to watch out for them in a proactive manner so that we can take advantage of price fluctuations in the market. And the gene editing revolution is no longer just a promise, it's becoming a reality. And CRISPR Therapeutics is well positioned with strong cash reserves, multiple programs in development, especially fully owned programs, and also the ones in partnership. And their first round therapy is already established and it's gaining traction. So that's what I would say. Now, before I wind up, I would like to go and check out the CRISPR Therapeutics price chart and give you some opinions about the share. Pre-market, they are up 1.22% today. I'm recording this on 13th February 2025 at 8:46 a.m. And we had a resistance yesterday at 42.84, and we have converted that into a support today. And pre-market, we are up a further 53 cents. So our next resistance is going to be 44.58. And I'm very keen to see that we cross that resistance. Looking at the MACD and the momentum, it seems that we are moving in that direction, and it's a distinct possibility. Another big milestone I'm looking for is for the price to cross 44.85 or 44.90. Once that happens, we'll have this reverse head and shoulder pattern validated, and then we'll have a price target of 51.80 or something in that range. I would say that I would even be happy if I get 50, or if I get somewhere around 50.71, I would still be happy, because we have strong resistance from the 200-day exponential moving average. It will be difficult to overcome that, and if we did that, then we have this diagonal resistance from the bear channel, which also we have to break through. So those are all strong hurdles. But given that CRISPR Therapeutics has been languishing at a lower level for a period of time, and there has been heavy consolidation out here, I think now the time has come for it to move up. This gap up is definitely a bit of a concern, but the gap up happened because of earnings. So I would say that I'm okay with that. And I don't think it will turn out to be such a potent magnet as other gap ups do, or gaps down do. So with that said, I think the only caution I would add is that we have to watch out for equity dilution. What I would do is that I would go back and have a look at their outstanding shares from 5 years ago, and compare them for each of those years from the last 5 years, and see how much change is happening each year, and try to determine if it is material, because I am suspecting that part of the sluggishness out here in the price chart could also be because of equity dilution. I just want to confirm that before I say that it is. So I'll do that bit of analysis, and I'll probably get back to you. If any of you already know about that, then please put it in the comment section, and I'd be happy to take it up from there. To appreciate how wound up CRISPR Therapeutics share is, I would say that we were at a peak of around 91 on the 22nd of February 2024, which is in the last year, just 12 months ago, and we have dropped significantly. And to quantify the drop, I would say that we have dropped, at this point of time, we have dropped around 52.37%. That's a huge drop, and it will be a very small ask to regain at least half of that. And we are talking about less than half. We just want to go right up to here, the 200-day exponential moving average, which is almost, I would say, 30% or less than 30% of what we have lost. So I'm thinking that that's a very distinct possibility, and this reverse head and shoulders will come to pass. Let us just wait for the formal indicator that the reverse head and shoulder pattern is completed. So with that, my friends, I would like to bring this video to an end, and I will catch up with you in the next video. Bye for now. But please don't forget to press a like if you liked it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. See you later.